Welcome, everybody, to the Dark Thoughts podcast. I am your handler, Chris, for this season. We are the Chaos Engine. You'll hear me in a little bit say that we didn't have a podcast name figured out yet, but we decided on the Chaos Engine, and we're going to call our Delta Green series Dark Thoughts, so that's where that's kind of coming from. In a little bit, you're going to hear us do our Session 0, where we create our characters, and you'll get to see kind of the core concepts that the players are going to have, as well as meet the cast and everybody, and then you'll see how they change a little bit going into what we actually record and do the first session. I will say that the first 3 sessions here, so Session 0, Episodes 1 and 2, are going to be slightly less audio quality. After we did the second one, we decided to upgrade our equipment. We probably should have waited to do that and just started after we bought new equipment. But hey, we're impulsive. What are you going to do? We did it, and that's where we're at. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Stick around, listen to Episode 1 along with this bad boy, and yeah, have fun. Welcome to our Session 0 of this here Delta Green podcast we're going to do. At the time of this recording, we don't have a name yet, but I might, when we figure out a name, I'll put a little precursor at the beginning and all that fun jazz. So, yeah, I guess let's go around the table right now and kind of introduce ourselves and who we are, and then we're going to get into making characters. So, I guess I'll go first because I'm talking right now. My name's Chris. I will be the handler for this campaign, podcast, all that kind of jazz. And we'll go to the next person. Let's go to my left, which you wouldn't know.
Well, spoiler alert, I'm on the left. This is Tyler. My name is Tyler, and I will be playing a Delta Green agent who I guess we'll make in a little bit here. See how dope he is.
Hi guys. My name's Misha. I am very short. I'm just gonna let everyone know that now. I'm sitting to the left of Tyler. Spoiler alert.
Podcasts are a visual medium.
Mirror of the mind.
And yeah, I'm excited about getting this Delta Green character biz.
I'm also to the left now. We're about 180 degrees from the start of the table. My name's Cody. I'm really bad at improv, and I'll be the primary source of cringe for this podcast. So if you are into that, stay tuned.
Another lefty here, 3/4 of the way. My name is Jake, or Jacob, and I'm shorter than Misha.
I think nobody can ever prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Am I legitimately the only left-handed person here?
You are.
So.
I'm not a
freak.
Yeah, I am a freak.
Everyone wants to be left-handed.
I can drive a stick shift.
I can't.
Yeah.
I've done it once in a parking lot.
Oh my gosh.
I succeeded. I'm like, I made it down an aisle. I'm done. I learned.
Yeah, I learned on a stick shift, and then I was like, nope, never want to do this.
Yeah, that shit sucked. So I guess the reason that we're doing this here podcast is I like all these folks, and we wanted to record us playing because I think we all have a pretty good dynamic.
And now we all, us four, have him on record saying he likes us.
I do. I will be the first to admit you guys are, when I first approached everybody here to play a game together, it's like, I'm going to take all my favorite people I like to play with, and I'm just going to make a game of them and hope they like each other. And so far, y'all have liked each other, so success.
It's been tight so far.
So, to you at home, we have a home game of Pathfinder 2nd Edition that we play. So, at one point, we will be done with that, and then we'll see what happens. But right now, we're hopping into the world of Delta Green. If you're listening to this for the first time, you don't know what Delta Green is, I will probably be releasing a little bit of a kind of rules explanation at the end of this, so just kind of stick to the end. We'll go over the basics there, what you're rolling and all that kind of stuff. I promise I'll try to do my best to make sense of all of this chaos you're about to enter into. So with that, we're going to jump into character creation, and the first step of character creation is we're going to determine some statistics. Delta Green has some statistics here. We got our standard strength, dexterity, con, intelligence, and then this is where it gets a little bit tricky. We have power. Get that wisdom shit out of here. And lastly, we're going to round it out with charisma. So it's basically like D&D, but with one thing substituted out.
Not to be confused with Carpenter.
Carpenter, yes.
Primary stat, carpenter.
Is Jesus playing? So we got to figure out, how do you guys want to get stats? You want to roll? Do you want to pick an array? Do you want to assign some stuff? What are you guys thinking here?
Tyler is.
I'm feeling rolling.
Yeah.
I'm feeling lucky.
All right. So
the way we're going to do this, and you're going to roll 4d6 for each of those stats, and you're going to drop the lowest dice. So what that means is if you roll like a 4, 5, 6, 1, you drop that 1, and you add the rest of the other 3 numbers together. That's your stat.
I get my 6 total stats, right? So we're just going to get my 6 numbers out of the way.
Would you be cool with us doing an array if he's rolling, or would you like us all to roll?
I mean, if you want to pick an array, go for it. I don't know if you all wanted to do a specific way or not. So, Ray, obviously, if you do a roll, you get a wider variety of stats, so you could be very swingy. Array gives you a much more defined characteristic.
Right.
So I'm not. I don't really give a shit. So if you guys want to roll. If you want to pick.
Okay.
So.
I hope the dice gods love me. Oh, that's good. See, so I got 3 5s and a 2. Drop the 2.
Yep.
15.
There you go. Is anybody else going to roll, or you guys going to?
I like the way Tyler's doing. I'm going to do
Okay,
that.
go for it.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you've got your 6 rolled. And if you want to roll them and then assign them to whatever stats you want later, I'm cool with that.
100%.
Yeah. I don't want this to be like a OSR thing where it's like what you roll for the first number is strength, and what you roll next is for dexterity.
Right.
Roll, assign it to where you want. I'm fine with that.
Cody, are you?
I'm going to take the Mario of approaches, and I just want to know what my stats are and allocate them. So I'm going to go with the array.
Okay,
That's cool.
nice. I'm trying to figure out where the arrays are at.
Page 19,
Are
I
you
think they
19?
said.
And I'm going to go
It
with
says either right there on the top of the next page where they are.
Yeah, it's page 19. Yeah.
Oh yes, if you'd like to pick the stat array. So
Yeah.
let's while they're rolling, let's go to page 19 and let's see what those stat arrays are. So if you have the book and you want to take a look, there is 3 kind of sets of statistics that you can pick. There is the well-rounded. So you have 1 stat at 13, another stat at 13, 2 stats at 12, 2 stats at 11. You can have a focused kind of character statistics where you have 1 stat at 15, 1 stat at 14, 1 stat at 12, 1 stat at 11, and 2 at 10. And then there's highly focused where it's 1 stat at 17, another stat at 14, another stat at 12, and then 2 stats at 10, 1 stat at 9. So you kind of make sense in this sense of either going to be well-rounded, you'll be good at everything. Hyper-focus is like, I'm really good at shooting motherfuckers. And you're going to put that 17 into whatever's going to be helping you best at shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm going to go highly focused, all into
Okay.
int, all
Cool.
in int, all day.
all right.
Yeah,
So-
I think I'm just going to go regular focused.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so once you guys know that, go ahead and assign them to your stats again. So that's strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, power, and charisma. Strength is kind of physical power size and how muscular you are. Constitution is health and physical. Dexterity is obviously your agility. Basic, if you've played an RPG before, kind of thing. So the nice thing about page 19 is they actually give you a sample of what each thing you would do. So, for instance, if you want to figure out, like, well, what am I going to use strength in this game for? To drag a witness to safety, break down a locked door, and hold a struggling victim down. So that's what you'd want strength for. So, yeah.
All right. I think I've got my stats distributed here.
Okay, cool.
I want a little more beefy. Kind of works out with the idea I had. So I got, start off here, going to have 15 strength,
Okay,
14 constitution,
okay.
12 dex,
Not bad.
9 intelligence.
Pretty crappy.
Yeah, it's real bad. 13 power,
Oh.
and then 10 charisma. So a little beefy, but not really charming and not too smart.
Just like real life.
I know, right? I'm the beefcake of the group.
No one will be able
Not
to
at all.
Okay, so now to get your, are we jumping ahead where we do the
Derived attributes? Or do you want to do...
I'm thinking so whatever you get those abilities, you're going to basically take that and times it by 5, and that's going to be your percentile score in it. So there should be like I don't know, I don't have the character sheet in front of me, but there should be
Yeah, there's a score and then a times 5 box
yes,
right next
yeah.
to it.
So that would be basically whenever you're going to have to roll just a straight like strength check, it would be your strength times 5. So that's what the percentile there would be. So once you do that, and then we will figure out your health points and all that fun
I
jazz.
see distinguished features. I got 17 in int, so I guess that makes me brilliant.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about I like about Delta Green is the more like points you have into ability scores or your skills, it kind of focuses your character's level of training in it. So like if your skill is like a 60% in something, that means you've gone to school for it. So like you need to work that into your background. Like if you're really high in mathematics, that means you majored in some sort of mathematics or something like that. I think that's a really cool way they handle things. So
That's awesome. However, yeah, I guess I'm just average and everything else. Cool.
That works. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna average in half my
Okay.
stats and a little up in the other half.
Okay. So next up, we're going to get our HP points. I guess is everybody done getting that point? Everybody there?
I think I am.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
wrapping up
did,
right now.
Cool.
did okay.
We'll give it a couple more seconds.
I want to do this times 5 here.
Oh, yeah. Math.
Yeah, it's going to be part of this game.
And then for distinguishing features, it's anything over 10? Anything over 12?
If we're going by what's in the book on page 19, if anybody's reading along with it,
Mm-hmm.
on the bottom there's just sample distinguishing features, and they kind of recommend like if you're above 13 or below 8, that is something that is like particularly noteworthy about
Yeah.
you.
Cool.
So, for instance, if you had a 13 to 16 in intelligence, you might be perceptive or something like that. So,
I put that I'm beefy for strength.
I'm glad.
Her character is not that strong, but she can hurt you with her mind.
That's what matters.
You will break their minds.
All right. So next up, we're going to get everybody's health points here. So you're going to take your strength score and your constitution score. You're going to add those bad boys together, and then you're going to divide that number by 2.
Which way do I round?
Up.
Hey.
I'm sorry, it was the con score and the
Strength score.
strength score. Okay.
For hit points?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not your worst stats.
It's that low?
Yep. So what's your strength?
It was 11, but
Okay.
I might change it now because it would give me 12 hit points total.
That's
Yeah,
what I
that-
have,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I think-
That's
I think
not
it's
bad.
Pretty normal, yeah. You could definitely have higher, though, yeah. I mean, your highest HP could be like maybe essentially like 16. or
Yeah.
something.
This is a very lethal
Right.
game. We'll go over it.
But Cody, how many hit points
Minus?
do you have in real life, would you say?
Oh, man.
I have at least 24, I think.
Wow.
What game system are we playing?
You know, just a game of life.
How many wounds can I take before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just 10 and 14, so my HP is 12.
Ah,
so yours
okay.
is going to be
So
8 and 13 is 21 divided by
minus-
2,
Okay.
rounded up.
It's on,
Round it up.
it's on
Okay,
page
so
16.
So you're going to be
Oh,
11,
thanks.
11 health. Yeah.
11.
Okay, so 12, 11. Tyler, what's Beefy Boy got?
Beefy Boy's got 15.
Oh,
Nice.
wee
There we
wow.
go.
Gonna live forever.
I'm not even got
Yep.
so.
Next, we're going to figure out your willpower,
Unbreakable.
which is equals to your power score or your power.
It's pretty simple.
Yep. So whatever your power is,
Pow, pow.
Cuckoo.
and then your sanity is going to be your power times 5.
Nice.
Hell yeah, nothing's gonna break me.
So that's good.
You have no idea how high I can fly.
Um, and then lastly, we're going to do your breaking point, which is your sanity minus your power score. So whenever you hit a breaking point in this game with your sanity, you develop some fun things, and we'll go over that when it happens. But for the most part, yeah, that's kind of the statistics. So I will need all these numbers from everybody at one point, but we'll do it after. So next up, after you've gotten all of that, everybody got everything they need there.
I think
I
I
guess
did.
there was one thing that I was a little
What you got?
curious of is that I remember in the book it said current sanity current sanity was like maybe what it should be, but then the maximum was like 99. I saw on someone's character sheet. Is the maximum supposed to be 99 or is that
No, you can get higher. You can get like 90 sanity and whatnot, but
okay? So should I be writing this?
your maximum amount is whatever your power times 5 is.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, and obviously you haven't lost any sanity yet. So, unless we'll get into that later if we're gonna take any of the
Cool.
like existing agent stuff, which
Hell
we'll get
yes.
into. So, next up, y'all need to figure out what your profession and your skill is gonna be. And that's going to kind of dictate how many bonds you have, which in this game, Delta Green deals with there'll be home scenes where players have these different bonds in their life, which keep them grounded in reality. And the game is mainly about those bonds being frayed and tested. In fact, like at points, instead of taking sanity damage, you can project it onto your bonds and damage those bonds with other people. And then you have to the ramifications of that later on. So yeah, let's kind of go through some of the professions. There's you can be an anthropologist or a historian, a computer scientist or engineer, a federal agent, a physician, scientist, special operative. There's also a criminal, firefighter, foreign service officer, intelligence analyst, and there's a lot more in the book. But basically, think of this as, I guess if we're going to go in like a kind of RPG sense, this is like your class in a way. It gives you your recommended, like what you should put your skills into. So for instance, let's just go off the first one, the anthropologist historian. It's recommended that you put all your points or your highest score into int. And then you begin with a set of skills that are at a base percent because of that. So like they get anthropology or archaeology at 50%, bureaucracy at 40%, which typically in the other game they probably start at 0 or 10%. So that's kind of how the game works. And then they have 4 bonds lastly. So they would create 4 bonds for their character, whether that would be a family member of their family themselves, that kind of thing. Ex-wife, that's where you start to kind of flesh out who your character is, what's important to them, who do they have, like who do they rely on in their life, kind of thing.
I think I'm definitely going to go special operative.
Okay, cool.
I'm looking through the professions at the end of the book that actually breaks down like the specific federal agency jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, a lot of those are really intense. I think I'm just going to start with the special agent basis.
Cool. All right, I like it. So, yeah.
Or special operative.
Yeah.
So,
Who needs bonds?
God, yeah.
Right.
The only thing I need is my gun.
So once you guys figure out what those are, go ahead and just put in the percentages on the character sheet. You'll see there is some check marks, and then there is the different skills in the space to the right of those. That's where you're going to put your percentage in. The check marks are going to be for if you fail a skill check during the game, you check it, and at the end of the game, you will erase the check mark, and the skill goes up by 1%. So that's how you kind of get. So anytime you fail, I need to verify if it's just any skill or if it's a skill that you're trained in. It goes up. I think it's any skill.
I think it's any skill.
So,
although I think that's also one of those rules that they've altered between editions. Like sometimes it was like 1d4, sometimes it's 1d4 plus 1.
Yeah, we're doing it with just 1. I think that seems much more realistic. So just for everybody's sake as well, you cannot have a skill that's higher than 80% starting. And then, yeah, that's each bond begins with a score equal to your charisma stats. Just remember that.
Totally.
So,
okay.
Because if your character ain't charismatic, people don't like them.
Smelly.
What if one of my bonds is a nascent AI that I'm creating, and the AI, you know, my passion for this project is my bond. Does it have to be a human?
No,
thing?
I think that would work because you could do something along the lines of like if you don't like keep working on the AI, then it's it's not gonna. It could turn, and it's AI. It's a computer. It might turn on you.
It knows. Yeah, exactly.
And then you're the mission.
I love that. Right.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
Very cool.
I think that's cool. We will figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, I'm having trouble. Do we need to figure out our bonds right now? I'm swimming in bonds.
No, I just by the time we start, I'd like to if you can have one maybe thought up or whatnot.
Oh yeah,
I think that's fine.
I have like 3 out of 4.
Cool. Yeah. I'd like to get a good glimpse at everybody's characters before we leave here, just so we know. And then we'll do kind of my plan here is for the rest of this is we'll go through character creation. I'd like everybody to kind of introduce their character. We'll talk about the start and whatnot, and then I'll give a little brief introduction to what's going to be coming, and then we will we'll call it good. We'll go home. Well, I won't because I'm already home, but I probably should preface this. We're recording in my basement, and so you might randomly hear small children screaming and running around upstairs because my children have small levels of hellion in them. So I think it's about bedtime right now, so that might not happen, but future recordings might have that, and I apologize. So that's part of life.
Might add to the ambiance in
Yeah.
a tense situation. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, so let me know when everybody's got everything figured out there, and we'll kind of do the last couple details. This is probably the most intensive part right now. So
Can a cat be a bond?
yeah, totally.
Nice.
Are we doing our?
Gotta feed that motherfucker. Gotta give him attention.
Oh no.
Are we doing our bonus features right now? Or are you about to do?
We'll get there. Yeah.
Is anyone okay? I don't know. This is kind of I don't know. I'm not, like I think it's just I want to know if anyone else is going to be good at like locksmithing.
I was thinking about taking some sort of like black bag operations, but I'm probably not.
Okay. How about you?
I don't think I'll be. You say lock picking?
I guess it's called locksmithing, but
I definitely won't. Well, that I'm leaning towards no.
Okay. And our forensic pathologist.
Mm-hmm. Lock picking. I don't see it.
It's called a craft.
Oh, a craft.
It's in the craft category. You can have multiple crafts.
Yeah,
and multiple
I
sciences.
think I'm going to lean more towards. If I'm into that situation, I just kick the door.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll give everybody
Athletics.
the rundown on stats while they're going through here. The skills, I should say. Excuse me. There's accounting, alertness, anthropology, archaeology, art, artillery, athletics, bureaucracy, computer science, craft, criminology, demolition, disguise, dodge, drive, firearms, first aid, forensics, heavy machinery, heavy weapons, history, human, which stands for human intelligence. Law, medicine, melee weapons, military science, navigate, occult, persuade, pharmacy, pilot, psychotherapy, ride, science, search, signet, which is, I think, like...
Sig intelligence?
Yeah, it's like signal intelligence. There's stealth, surgery, survival, swim, unarmed combat, unnatural, and then foreign languages / other skills. So... and I think they even added like another skill recently. I think that's like the computer science, isn't there something like that? I thought there was.
I believe so.
So that's all the skills that you're putting your points into.
Heck yeah.
So.
Okay, and there's the bonus skills that I can choose with my class, and that are like optional, and then there is the 8.
Well, with your profession, you have to choose everything in there, but then you get an additional 8.
Yeah, so when you choose a profession, you get everything listed there. And then there should be a point at the bottom that says choose between these ones as well. Perfect. On top of that, your agent gets to basically get bonus skill points. You pick 8 skills and increase them each by 20% or 20 points. Except for unnatural. Can't do unnatural.
Up to 80, is it?
Up to 80%, yes. Or you can pick a bonus skill package to save time between those bonus skills. So if you want to go for like a specific build, they would have the bonus packages for that.
All right. So I'm going to be an engineer, and I've got a ton of science and a ton of craft. I'm innately good with I'm an electrician, craft electrician, mechanic, and microelectronics, and locksmithing. And then on science, I'm good at math, physics, and engineering.
Nice.
So I'm going to be all up in that tech biz.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I went down the intelligence analyst route.
Okay.
So yeah, my character is just going to be kind of well-rounded, fresh out of college, uses her wits to try to get out of situations kind of deal. I guess. I suck at this part of the game.
Well, you gotta think where they went to college. I mean, where'd they graduate from?
Yeah, I gotta think of that backstory, because after college she went right into training for the FBI.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, with those higher skill points, I would like you all, if you have those higher points, to flesh out why they have them. I think that just adds a little cool level to the game. Where
sure, yeah.
So, did you graduate? Like high honors in your class? Did you barely scoot by? Just kind of think of that when you're finishing out the background for these characters.
Sure.
I decided to go with a retired U.S. Marshal.
Nice.
Who now is just like a keynote speaker, basically.
Doing TED Talks?
I was going to say TED Talks. Yeah.
TED Talks for other law enforcement
Is
agencies.
it like security analyst kind of stuff where he goes in there and well, here's where you're, you need to have that door locked, that door needs gives him that kind of spiel, or is he just go in there and what kind of talks is he giving?
So he used to be an interrogator,
okay,
or like an interview specialist.
Is that what they call it?
Maybe that's what he calls it. And he created his own method.
Gotcha.
Of sort of getting to the bad people. And now he travels the country, maybe even North America, teaching it.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's also his cover for his family.
Right.
His wife Marie, she can't know about dental green.
Oh wow, yeah. I love it. That's awesome.
I love Marie.
He does.
Calls her every night.
Yep.
No, she doesn't answer.
Whoa, hey man, you can watch that.
Sorry, I don't want to make up your background.
Fine words.
Already playing my character, I see.
Oops.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna take heavy machinery. I hope that comes in play at some point. That sounds cool.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's like
What page is that?
It's like driving.
that's like
fucking
using
trucks.
tractors
Yeah,
and
tractors
bulldozers and
and
stuff.
Well, on here.
So I decided to take, for the most part, a background package.
Okay.
I changed a couple things, but I
I
picked.
don't think that's how background packages work, but okay.
Well, you can just use it as inspiration. I liked combat veteran,
Okay.
but some of the things on there I didn't quite like.
Gotcha.
So mostly went with that, but like I did, instead of putting even more points into unarmed combat, I like put the 20 into human.
Okay.
And then there was another one that I can't find again, but I put that into drive instead. So
Gotcha.
for the most part, use combat veteran.
Yeah, we should probably also preface the show or prefix or whatever. We don't know shit about guns.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
So
very bad
we are
at guns.
not going to have solid knowledge on guns. I will look up like standard issue guns for certain agencies and whatnot, but at the end of the day, like I don't know about guns. I know like Counter-Strike guns, and that's about the extent of my guns. So
Good enough.
Well, Spin Team, if you're looking to hate watch people who are really bad at guns, this is perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
I will be very, very bad. And yeah.
Yeah, if you just want a bunch of fucking clowns to make fun of because we don't
You
know
came to the right
anything about
place.
weapons, you came to the right place.
9mm don't shoot 9mm. Shoot farther than that.
I don't know why this is funny.
I have shotguns before. I will.
I measure.
Yeah, I've shot a gun before.
Yeah, I've shot many of guns. I just don't know about said gunnage.
Many of guns have been shot in my
Yeah,
hand.
yes.
But gunnage, I do not know.
Yeah, no.
Do they have bullets that are measured in inches instead of millimeters?
Is that what the millimeter part of the gun is?
9mm? I
size
think
how-
9mm is how big
how
the bullet
big the
is.
bullet is?
Size of the bullet.
Oh, learn something new every day.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's okay.
From what I understand,
That's
they
so
don't clog as much as other pistols, so that's why they're
Oh,
good.
Thank
Yes.
God.
And
So-
they have a good array, I believe. When you shoot, they have a pretty solid array.
I fucking hate it when my gun clogs.
Yeah,
I,
AK-47s, man.
There's so many edgelords swarming.
Well,
Just run.
I was at work and my boss, it was, ex-military, and I was talking about the nozzle of a gun, and he made fun of me immediately. It's like, it's not called a nozzle. I forget what it is called.
Barrel?
It's a barrel, right?
I think it's barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he laughed very hard.
The
I
part
got
the bullet comes out of?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a barrel.
I mean, nozzle.
I
remember,
What's a nozzle, actually.
you know?
My buddy, he lives out in the woods, and so he has bears that come around his property and like coyotes and whatnot. So he bought a gun for fighting, like killing them off so they don't attack his chickens or like
Fighting them off.
fighting them off with a gun. He does it like it's a bayonet, just like hitting them with the ends.
Round one.
Yeah. But no, so he bought a gun to like protect his chickens, and he bought a FAMAS, which I know from Counter-Strike is like it's the assault rifle with the big handle on top. I'm just like,
I know exactly.
Yes.
you bought a FAMAS? He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, you didn't play Counter-Strike. How did you know about a FAMAS? Like, I thought that was a made-up gun. I didn't know that was real.
Yeah, none of us know shit about guns, but we all know Counter-Strike, so
Yeah.
I know what a FAMAS is, yeah.
Yep. If I'm gonna buy a gun, it's gonna be a Deagle for sure.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
practical. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
50 cal,
Yeah,
got
gotta
the
be.
Deagle.
Yep.
I just know that you run faster with a knife, and that's all I had in
True.
Oh yeah,
Counter-Strike.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You bunny hop everywhere you go.
yeah. Hit walls.
When Cody and I first
You
started
switch guns,
dating,
you reload faster.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
When Cody and I first started dating, like 2 decades ago, he wanted to show me Counter-Strike, but like he was just like way too good. He like shoot me through a wall, and I was like, I did not understand why I was so bad at this game, so I was getting so frustrated. But he would just like shoot me in the head every single time within 20 seconds.
Yeah, I should have had some mercy, but I was 18.
It's what it was like playing GoldenEye as a little kid at daycare.
Yep.
You know, the
100%.
fifth graders just like fucking annihilating me.
I remember my favorite Counter-Strike moment was I was playing with some friends and we were scrimming. Back in the day, MTV used to have like MTV I'm a blah blah blah. It was like a reality TV show, and there was one that was like like I'm a pro gamer, and there's an all
True Life.
True Life.
I
Thank
remember
you.
that. Yeah.
There was an all female Counter-Strike team, and
Yeah.
we scrimmed them. And I team wiped them, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I just like sat on top of like I think it was Nuke 2, and I just sat on top of a shed, and they all walked out, and I just did this stupid spray, like headshot 3 of them, and then finished one of them off. I'm just like, I can't play anymore. I just peaked. I'm not. Nothing I do from this point forward is going to be good.
Holy crap! That's
Dude,
awesome.
this is gonna sound like a lie, but I met the girl from True Life. I have Tourette's at the Tacoma Mall.
Nice.
Yeah, she was just there, like walking around. Yeah,
Holy crap!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was just. I will never forget that moment.
yeah.
Bong Ripper 420 blaze it.
Got my last skills here.
All right.
Yeah,
I think I've got everything except for when we do the little extra bit
okay.
for when they are the damaged veteran.
Everybody ready to give their character their name, age, and nationality?
Oh boy, I
I
don't have a
think
name
so.
yet.
Okay. You don't have to have a name now. Just need to have a name by the time we play.
Done. I can
Cool.
do that.
As long as you can put that down. So,
I'm
cool.
close enough. I'm probably gonna have to.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
revamp it
yeah,
somehow. But
totally. Well, this is just us kind of getting everything, the basics
Yeah.
down. So, okay. Next up, you're going to come up with 5 motivations that are not bonds for your character. So just kind of think of that.
Up to 5.
Up to
right?
5, yes.
Yeah.
So fuck bitches, get money.
Disregard bitches, acquire currency.
Exactly. I don't know what other motivations people have. Not dying, live forever.
Survival.
Survival.
Spite.
Yeah, revenge is.
I
a
may
big one.
write down spite.
Become the world's best violinist.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know what your characters do in their pastime.
that might be.
There you go.
Yeah.
Find my parents' murderer. You know, just throwing little things out there. Who knows? My parents are not murderers. I should fully
Yeah.
disclose that.
That seems like a good character.
So,
Well, you don't really know your parents are your parents.
lastly, I don't think you guys are going to have any mental disorders or anything as we go, so we don't have to worry about that.
I do.
You will eventually. Well, yes, you can if you'd like to have one, but you guys will kind of. That's kind of when you hit a sanity point, you'll develop stuff like that when you hit a breaking point.
Got it.
And whatnot. And then lastly, let's take a step back here and kind of go into the kind of overall process of what we're kind of going with this season. I don't think this is going to be like a traditional Delta Green game in a sense. I mean, they will be Delta Green agents. They will be part of a team, but I had the idea for the game that we're going to be running, the mission that we're going to start off with, that everybody here would already be a pre-existing team. And then one of the players would be like the new guy replacing somebody who is the catalyst for our adventure. So for those who at home, we're going to be playing the Music from a Darkened Room, the scenario. It will be, I'm going to say, decently modified. I'm not going to say it's heavily modified. Like, for instance, we're not going to take place in New Jersey. We're going to take place in Ellensburg, Washington, because we all are from Washington State, and it just seemed funner to set it in some place that we all had a reference for instead of New Jersey. And I'll be changing a couple other different things throughout there, but I like the idea of everybody here having a connection to the catalyst for the scenario and somebody new coming in. So at this point, if you would like to have your agent be adapted, you're more than welcome to. So there's kind of different things that characters can do, and this is on page 38 of the book as a kind of a veteran thing to go through. They're called damaged veterans. So you can become already adapted to violence. You can become adapted to helplessness. There's another way that you can basically have to reduce, you remove one bond from a hard experience.
I think that's what
Or
I'm
there's
thinking.
things man was not meant to know, and your agent gains 10% in the unnatural skill and adds 20% to occult. You reduce their sanity by their power, so you're already at a breaking point, essentially. And your character gains a new disorder caused by the unnatural, and then we kind of go through that. So if you choose to, you can pick one of those as your agent. The nice thing about being like adapted to violence or helplessness is whenever you take sanity, whenever you have to make a sanity roll for one of those things, if you're adapted to it, I don't believe you take sanity damage from it, because like you've seen some fucked up shit, if that makes sense. So
That is cool. So you just stay adapted, like
yes,
Wow.
but obviously, like, you know, if you're going to be adapted to violence, like for instance, the extreme violence one, you add 10% to your agent's occult skill, reduce their sanity by 5, subtract 3 from their charisma and each of your bonds, and you become adapted to violence. So there definitely is a big price to pay for it. And so that's just kind of something to think about. And I think that's something, if you choose to go that route, I want to know like what happened in your background. Those are all things I think are really cool to go through. So like, so kind of there are many adaptations of the mind. So like kind of with violence, whenever you hit a breaking point, and I think it comes from one of those things, you can gain like addiction, depression, like all these certain things that you're trying to fight against that. And so maybe that's where, adapted to sanity loss. So people who become hardened to traumatic stimuli, such as one agent fleeing to too many mundane things, adaptation to violence and adaptation to helplessness occur after an agent has lost sanity from the kind of trauma 3 times in a row without going temporarily insane. And so essentially, each time violence or helplessness reduces your agent's sanity by 1 or more, mark a box on your cheat. If your agent suffers insanity from violence, all 3 boxes are marked. Erase all the violence, start again. So I think it just means that you just basically resist san loss from those instances, but you take pretty heavy toll for doing it. So, and there are a couple different ways that you're going to lose sanity from this. There's unnatural from violence. All those kind of things play into how you lose sanity over time. So if anybody wants to go that route, you're more than welcome to.
I'm not picking the ones that'll give me the adaptations, but I am picking the hard experience background.
Okay, cool.
So I will lose a bond and remove 5 sanity already.
Okay. What's your breaking point?
My current sanity is at 60, and my breaking point is 52.
Ooh, starting off juicy close.
Yeah. So if you were to take things that man was not meant to know and reduce your sanity, is it just reducing your current sanity?
Yeah.
By your power? So you're already starting off with the very next instance of sanity loss. You're at a breaking point.
You already at a breaking point.
You're at a breaking point.
So then what you
would reset your breaking point to your next one.
Yeah. You remove you lower your sanity by your power,
mm-hmm.
which puts you at a breaking point. Give yourself disorder, and then you have a new breaking point by lowering your sanity by
your power again.
Yeah, and that's your new breaking point.
Yep.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like you've already seen so much shit that you broke, and that you pick up from there.
Yep. And you have to pick something from the sanity, from the unnatural list. You don't get to pick something from violence. So, for instance, the things that come from unnatural are, let's just go here.
To get spooky.
Amnesia, depersonalization disorder, depression, dissociative identity disorder, fugues, megalomania, paranoia, or sleep disorder. So
yeah, I think I want...
all of those are yikes.
Yeah. My character's agent name is Jim Duffy.
Jim Duffy.
And I think Agent Duffy has night terrors. Okay. I think he maybe has even pissed the bed.
So we can go with that. So just so you're aware of sleep disorders, every time your agent tries to sleep, you need to make a SAN test. If you fail, he wakes repeatedly in terror and loses the possibility of resting or regaining any willpower points for 24 hours.
Ooh.
So I just want to make sure that you are fully aware. I love the idea. I'm here for it. But
high risk, high reward.
Yeah, I think I'm really hamstringing myself by making a 55-year-old retiree with night terrors.
But you know all about that occult.
But
but I think I'm going to do it.
Okay, cool. There we go. I love it. So we'll get into that at when we get our first sleepy time.
Jim Duffy is hard boiled at this point.
Yeah, dude. Jim Duffy really doesn't fuck around.
Well, I mean that fits though with what it feeds right into what your character was talking about.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing what broke him. Okay, is there anything? Everybody got everything they need?
Yeah.
I got my stats. I don't have like my armor and guns.
Don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, we'll do that later.
Yeah.
The kind of last things. The last things you're going to do is just kind of pick out what your character would have, like weapon wise, that kind of thing. I don't know if your character would necessarily always have armor on them, but there is like they typically have it in a car. It's not like D&D where you walk around with a bulletproof vest on all the time.
Yeah.
So
what kind of bulletproof vest?
Yeah.
Kevlar.
+1
Kevlar.
Dragon mail.
What if my character runs a gun shop?
Depends on where he is at if he feels it's necessary to wear that.
Okay. I'll think about that.
I don't think he would wear it in public unless I'm cool with you saying he wears it in public if you make him like a QAnon nutbag.
Yeah,
where he's
zero
afraid that
charisma.
somebody's going to fucking kill him at all times.
I don't know how crazy I want to make him, but
Okay.
he's going to be more towards that than not.
Okay.
Well, this is Delta Green. Everyone's trying to kill us at all times.
Yeah, I mean, I won't go that far, but my character is definitely developing. My engineer is sort of developing to be this, prepared for the apocalypse, like super paranoid.
Nice.
Like his constitution's really high, and he's in perfect health. He's super fit, but he's just like this super tech. Like he just like went into a bunker and just like worked out and like totally techie, just like all these gadgets everywhere. And he's just, and that's how I imagine that's how he found Delta Green. He's 80 in SIGINT, so he decrypted some code and was like, what is this? And I imagine that's how I found it.
Yeah, I mean, you could have like concealable Kevlar. Like if you carry like a backpack, we can say it's in there. But I don't know if you would constantly carry it around. But okay,
Chris, quick question.
That's
No.
hot.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine.
question time's over. What's up?
So I've marked down everything that I used from my additional 20%.
Okay.
And the 4 things I get 10% by picking the hard experience.
Okay.
So I know what the base ones were. If I decide like I want to look through all the federal like exact military jobs descriptions they have in the end of the book rather than just the special operator list.
Okay.
If I decide one of them fits my character,
Yeah, it's fine. You can change.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just
That's
want to know.
Yeah. So typically, kind of a house rule I've always done in a game is I give everybody 1 session with their level to figure out if they like how they've done it, and then they can change it after that, and then that's it till that's it. So if everybody, once we do like the first session and you're like, I didn't really use that skill a whole lot, I might want to put it here. I'm fine with you saying you do that, and then we'll just kind of pick up with that. Then the second one, I've always felt everyone always gets the character idea, and then they start to play and realize some of it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So I'm fine saying if you want to switch, like add or take away a skill or two, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I'll definitely need to
You
tweak
don't.
it.
You have very little health, so I don't worry about that.
Speak for yourself. I'm never gonna die.
That's true. Yeah. So. That's kind of us making characters. Anybody else have any character names besides we got Jim Duffy?
I think I got a name. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but Levi Stafford.
Ooh,
That's
a good
nice.
one. That's a good
I like
name.
My character is kind of based off of Clary Starling from Silence of the Lambs, so I went with an anagram of Clary Starling, which is Alistair Circling. People
pretty
call
good.
her Al for short if you really know her. And she's just an FBI trainee. She's very well in Silence of the Lambs. Like the whole thing with Clary Starling is like she's small in stature, so she's not like super strong, but she does strive to make her own in like the man's world. So she like goes the distance every single time, works out every single time. Just doesn't want to be outstaged just because of her gender, and I use air quotes on that. So she's I picture her just being like kind of the brains of there's other brains, but like the I guess the human emotional side brains of the whole
There you
thing.
go. Yeah. Like Cody's character's really good at computers. You're going to be really good at reading people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cody, did you get the name for your character yet, or are you still thinking on it?
I had 10 seconds to think of it. This just came out. I don't know if it's good. We're sticking with it.
Word vomit.
Looking at the stats, it spoke for itself. He's going to be Eustace Finnegan.
I like it.
Yeah, dude, Eustace is a good one.
Yeah.
And also, if you guys want to have like a code name or anything or an alias, you're more than welcome to. So if you want to go by like Agent Black or
Oh, yeah.
Agent White, just let me know and I'll write it down so
Bring
I
some
know.
blood
Yeah,
dogs.
Jack
Jim,
Ruby.
Jim Duffy is
What?
the alias.
So yeah, Jim Duffy. Yeah,
That's pretty.
That's not his real name.
that's
Oh.
fine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
Why.
his Delta Green name.
I wrote
Oh,
Jimmy
okay.
Duffy, and I like.
You should erase that. Yeah, he's not a Jimmy.
It's a James.
Yeah, James or Jim.
I don't know. I'm just like, I was like, this is Jim. I thought maybe I was going for Jimmy Buffett, but I don't know. Okay. I probably should also talk about this game's going to have a lot of fucked up shit in it, like trigger warning level stuff. And I guess right now would probably be a good idea to go over. Are there any like let's not go there places with you guys? And in certain games there is this theory called like an X card or veils and kind of thing where like you basically just like, hey man, I don't want animals to die. I don't like it, so don't let animals die in your game. And so as a GM, I know, okay, I'm going to avoid animals dying or at least dying on screen where they see it, like that kind of thing. So is there any places that you guys don't want the story to go? Because I will realistically tell you this story can go in a lot of dark places. And I just want to know off the bat, like, is there anything that anybody's uncomfortable dealing with before we dive into this?
I'll say any like sexual violence.
Yeah,
That's my.
I don't
Yeah.
fuck with that normally, but good
Yeah,
to know.
of course, yeah.
I'm gonna write down no goes. I'm gonna put down rape
Yeah, that's
/ sexual violence. Anybody else got anything here that they do not like or don't want to come across when we delve into this?
I'll just piggyback off of Jake's right there. Yeah, sure. That
Okay.
sounds good.
That's all I was going to say too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for me as a GM, I've always found romance and stuff like that in games really weird to role play. So like, I'm fine
Oh,
if
yeah.
characters want to be like, I'm gonna go find somebody and lay down with them. It's like cool, but I'm not gonna role play with you.
Right.
And
Roleplay it, Chris.
if you're gonna do anything weird, like
Describe to me how her bosoms.
Yes. How is her bosom?
Hold me.
I remember the closest we ever got was I remember there was one thing where like a cleric had gone to ask a prostitute about something and he failed the role, and so she didn't give him the information. She's like, well, I'm just gonna kill her. I was like, why? You're a cleric.
whoa.
Like, hold on, time out. Like, yeah, it was a weird thing, but typically I don't really
That
don't
escalated quickly.
want to mess with any sort of sexual stuff just because it's uncomfortable for me having to role play with everybody else, that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, you guys are going to have home lives and whatnot, and there will be those kind of role playing sessions at home games, but that's not necessarily going to be just like,
I'm not gonna bang my wife
yeah,
in a
exactly.
home venue.
We're like, come plow me, big boy. Like, that's just not. We're not going to go that route.
Why not?
Yeah, Misha and I have been watching this anime called Made in Abyss, and it has like kids
Oh my
that end up
God.
getting like morphed into different creatures permanently. It's like fucked up.
It's-
man.
that one is
So
wild.
we're like attuned to that. So we're
Okay,
good.
cool. Yeah, it's just like I said, this game. There's a lot of messed up stuff in this book, and for it all to potentially come to light, I just want to make sure everybody's prepared going into it that there's going to be some pretty
Yeah.
gnarly stuff. But I mean, if you've seen a horror movie, it's not going to be, I don't like anything more intense than that.
I don't watch
Sure.
horror movies.
Okay,
But
well,
the theater of the
I've actually
mind.
never seen a single one.
okay,
No.
they're pretty good.
What's a horror movie?
Well, it's a movie generally based off of scaring you through jump
Oh,
tactics. or
no,
anything
not
like
for
that.
Oh, yeah, I don't want jump scares.
Okay,
yeah.
I can't help you there.
Ah, damn.
I
Don't make
can't,
me scared ever.
Life is sunshine and rainbows.
Well, that's the last episode of our podcast.
Is that what this
Short
was?
one and done. We did it, guys.
All right. Yeah. So I guess let's talk about the group dynamic here. Who wants to be our newcomer to the crew? Do you guys want to have a cell name? So typically it's based off like A through Z.
Yeah,
But, I mean, if y'all want to be another, you don't have to go by that.
So like the Enterprise.
So like there's N-cell, K-cell, that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm not an incel.
Okay, if you didn't say that, I was good.
Yeah. Thank you. I set that up. I was
yeah,
waiting
yeah,
for someone
okay,
to swing.
very nice.
So
There's no way that wasn't intentional.
So what, Misha? You said you wanted to be new,
I'm
or
really
maybe Cody
okay.
wanted to be the newbie.
Because you wanted to be, based off that character.
It makes
Like
sense.
the trainee.
Unless you want
No,
it.
I'm Eustace. He's new, he's fresh-ish, but he's not new. So
Yeah,
we're-
'cause-
Okay, well, so this is just a new person to this group. Like, so
Yes.
Chris, the implication is that we're a cell who has theoretically done some missions together.
Well, that was going to be my question next was like, how many missions do you think you guys have
Hmm.
recently done with your old teammate versus now?
I feel like my character's only been on a handful of missions at all.
So I want to say like 2? Like you guys have
Yeah,
done 2
like 2 or
missions
3.
before?
Yeah, and like, so the way I kind of like envisioned, I guess I like the name Levi Stafford, so I'm going to keep it.
nice.
So he's been on a couple, but he's more of like a muscle of a group. So I don't know if that's something that like nobody else has, and maybe like I'm definitely not the new person, 100%.
That's fine.
Sure.
No, I like the idea if it fits with what Misha's going with her character of like she has to prove something. So her being the new person, I think that works well for that. Okay, so we're gonna say you guys have been on 2 like missions before.
Successful, I take it.
I mean, there's never really a
never know.
successful mission in Delta
Jake,
Green.
Jake, you said your character were you going to take the veteran, the hit?
Yeah, I took the things man was not meant to know.
So you said you only gone on 3 missions. So on one of those 3, you already encountered something of that severe.
Yeah, well, one of the 2, the other fucking guy killed himself.
Damn. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I love the idea of like maybe it's the last one, no matter what. Like maybe this is a new thing for your character, these night terrors. Like whatever happened on your guys' last mission was so bad that like this has happened to you, and then like one of your guys just went AWOL, and I like so
that's awesome.
Tight.
So we don't know if the last mission was a success or was a failure, but something big happened. And I think that's something cool to hang over the kind of the podcast.
Okay, then maybe my character has gone on, and maybe Eustace has gone on more. Because I was gonna say I was gonna think about being new too, but maybe I've gone on like 10, and I've just gotten lucky. And I'm like, maybe I'm overconfident. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like, there's no problem. But then shit's gonna hit the fan. He's gonna quickly find out that his confidence is
and
his hubris is
I think, I mean, I don't know if there's like concrete cells. I think they call who's ever the most available, but I kind of had the idea that maybe you guys are the ones they call like for certain areas. So if like there's something going on in like the Pacific Northwest, you're typically their like first go-to team, and if one of you can't, they'll swap out somebody else. That was kind of my idea here. Cool. All right, I like it. So for your characters, obviously, you don't have to have them be in the Pacific Northwest area. It probably would help the storyline if they were from kind of the West Coast, but they can be from anywhere. It just, to me, it would make sense if Delta Green would like call people in the area.
Oh yeah, they usually need to respond.
Yeah.
That.
So, but we'll go over that. Just kind of think of that for your character. Like, where are they currently living? Where are they currently at when we start when you get the ring, get the call. Other than that, I think that's kind of everything I wanted to cover for like a session 0. I want to make sure everybody's cool on the same page with what spoopy shit's going to happen, make some characters, go over kind of a background, get a nice kind of a setup for what you guys are going to be going through. So we know that 3 of you know each other. You all have connections to this dead agent. And then the new person coming in will you all have to figure this out, and we'll see. Yeah. So I think that's really all we need for now.
I don't know if we've said this already. Maybe we haven't. I just don't remember. But we all have full-time jobs. None of us are improvisers. None of us are voice actors or comedians.
Like I said, cringe.
I'm a bit of a clown, but that's
our goal here was to kind of. I love our table dynamic. I think we have a really good table dynamic, and I felt like it would be. Us recording it and putting it out there would probably be a fun thing for others to listen to, because I feel like we have a good dynamic. I feel like everybody here is fun to play with. I think this is going to be a system that's going to stretch all of our abilities and kind of put us and test us when it comes to doing this stuff. But I have a lot of fun playing with you guys, and I hope that our fun playing with each other in a non-sexual way translates well through this
to as fun as it is in a sexual way.
I said that was a hard no.
That's why I had to clarify, because when you throw that out there, someone's going to swing. So again, no, that kind of went with the other stuff. No, I just my goal here is for us to present what a real actual game would feel like. I will say I'm probably going to do a lot more editing. Like I've written some spoopy music for the background and stuff like that, and I'm going to do some effects on stuff. But I really want this game to feel like you're sitting around with friends playing.
Except we're not your fucking friends.
Yes. We never will be. That's not true. I'm a pretty likable guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I think.
Thanks for sticking around to the end. I'm assuming you don't know how to play Delta Green, or you're just going to listen to all of this and want to hear me keep talking. Either way, cool. Glad to have you here. Delta Green is a D100 system. So in your typical 7-sided dice set you get, you'll have a dice that has 10 through 00 on it. And then you'll have another one that has 1 through 0 on it. Those are your D100. That's the 10 through 00. And then the D10 is the 1 through 0 or 10. You're going to roll those guys together. Your number that has the 2 on it, so the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 00, is considered your kind of your 10 spot. And then your other dice, the 1 through 0, is considered your 1 spot. You'll combine them together to get whatever your roll is. So let's say you roll a 60 and a 3. That means you rolled a 63. So 6, 0, and a 3. The 3 replaces the 0. There you go. You got your roll. The goal in Delta Green is to roll under whatever your stat is in a particular skill. So if you have a 53 in one of your skills and you roll a 63, you failed. If you roll 53, you succeed. So you want to roll your skill or under. That's the basic premise of the system. In Delta Green, there are crits. So anytime that you roll the same number and you are below your skill, that's considered a crit. So again, let's go back to your skill being 53. That means if you roll an 11, 22, 33, or 44, you crit succeed. A 001 is also considered a critical success. If you roll a 000, that's 100. That's always a critical fail. So that's kind of how to recognize all that. Critical failures are the exact same thing as a critical success, but over your skill. So again, let's say you still have that skill of 53. So a 66, a 77, an 88, and a 99, those are all critical failures. That's how the system kind of balances this out. The thing I love the most about Delta Green is that if your skill level is high enough, as a handler, I can just give you the information. You don't need to roll. It's assumed that your character is smart enough that they'll just figure it out. And I love that because it cuts down on uncertainty. There are certain scenes where it's pretty easy information for them to find. I would probably give it to them, but knowing they have a 60, fuck yeah, let's just go ahead and give it to them. I will sometimes allow characters to still roll to see if they get a crit so they can get extra information, but it just kind of depends on the situation. But yeah, skills are the backbone of this game. You still have your stats, which we kind of went over and we talked about, and you use those if you don't really have a specific skill that you want to use it against. If you're trying to break down a door, it's just going to be strain times 5. There's no, break down door skill. It's a pretty simple system once you start getting into it. The part that kind of was going to confuse people a lot is probably going to be combat. In your typical RPG games, especially coming from, like, let's say the D&D world, you always are going to have your standard, your move, and your minor action, or, some variation of that. Pathfinder 2e has the 3-action economy. Most games give you some sort of a main action, some sort of a movement type action, and then kind of a ancillary minor action to do. In Delta Green, you have 1 action per round. You pull your gun out, that's all you're doing that round. You're going to shoot somebody, that's all you're doing that round. You can move up to a certain amount of feet. I believe if you're you can move to 20 yards, or I forget the exact amount, but there is some leeway there. But for the most part, you only get 1 action. And if you shot at somebody this round, you don't get to defend yourself this round because your action was shooting. If you're going to swing a baseball bat at somebody, you don't get to defend yourself when the monster swings back at you or the enemy swings back at you. So that's kind of a cool little feature to this. I think speeds things up. Typically, initiative is based upon whoever has the highest dexterity score. That person goes first, and you just go down the line. If people are tied, that means they go at the same time. So their actions happen simultaneously within the action. So that can get a little bit convoluted at points, but we'll see. I don't think this first session's first story is gonna have a whole ton of action, but I don't know where they're gonna go. They could end up being murder hobos and just trying to murk a bunch of people. We'll see. There are your basic penalties as well within the system. You could use them as like a -20 to -40. Same with if you give a bonus, it'd be a +20 to the +40. It just really depends on the situation and the role, and you feel free as a handler to apply them as needed. And yeah, there are luck rolls in this game. You'll hear me do throughout the time where you just straight up roll a 50% chance, and if it's above 51 or above, you don't get it. If it's 50 or under, you succeed on it. Pretty awesome. I love that mechanic as well. So it's easier for me as a GM if they say do something I'm not ready for, then I'll just do a luck roll and we'll roll with it from there. There's also opposed tests, and this is where it gets kind of confusing for a lot of people that I've run into as I've run this game for maybe 2 or 3 groups now. When you're doing an opposed check, you both are going to roll to see who succeed. You're going to roll your skill, they're going to roll their skill. And if you succeed and your opponent succeeds, it's whoever rolls higher, or obviously a critical success automatically will trump whatever's going on. Otherwise, whoever rolls higher in their success is the one who wins. So if you're going against an enemy that has an 80 strength and they roll a 63, and your strength was a 40 and you rolled a 33, that monster's going to win because it has a higher bonus. But if you succeed and they fail, you win. If you both fail, then nothing happens. It just kind of is a stalemate. You could also kind of go with, or whoever rolls lower succeeds and the other fails, that's just kind of up to the handler. I'd never really had to run into that choice yet, so that's kind of the nice thing there. Other than that, there's a lot of different things that happen within this game that are just kind of, we go as we go, but that's the basics of the system. I think that's enough to get you into this first arc of the campaign. Let's just say that. There is going to be some defense rolls that you can do in combat. When we get to situations like that, I will explain the rules as we kind of get into it. This game is extremely deadly too, as I've mentioned. Like, if you get to 1 or 2 hit points, you pass out unconscious. If you get to 0 hit points, you are permanently dead. And so yeah, if you have any other questions, just hit us up. I'll be more than happy to explain it to you. But we hope you guys enjoy what we have coming, and yeah, see ya in episode 1.